Welcome to the Gruber Morning Show. We were just sitting here enjoying our introduction enormously. I'm Pete Gruber.
I'm Erica Guthrie.
And I'm Janie Herndon-Leon.
And we have fun with these AI podcasts that we do every Wednesday. And what we have behind us here is some pretty cool concepts. It has to do with transporting humans.
Yes.
And,
Yeah.
And real quick, don't forget to like, subscribe, and chime in.
Yes, we want to hear from you. Thank you, Erica.
So we thought we would open up with a professor from Bangor University. His name is Guillaume Thierry. He's a professor of cognitive neuroscience. And when I first read this, he just had me chuckling and laughing. So I'm going to read something to you, and he does not appear to like AI very much.
No.
Well, make sure you add the tone and context of
Yes.
it.
Yes. All right. So he says we are constantly fed a version of AI that looks, sounds, and acts suspiciously like us. It speaks in polished sentences, mimics emotions, expresses curiosity, claims to feel compassion, and even dabbles in what it calls creativity. But here's the truth, he says. It possesses none of these qualities. It is not human. And presenting it as if it were, well, that's dangerous because it's convincing. And there's nothing more dangerous than a convincing illusion.
You know what I just got a thought of?
What?
Is they have those apps of those fake dating people where they
AI
catfish.
people? The catfish, yeah.
Catfish.
Yeah.
So where people will pretend to be something that they're not on those dating apps.
Yeah. Right.
And so this is like the same kind of thing.
It
where
is.
It's
Yeah.
like we were thinking that
They
we're...
think AI is catfishing us.
So he continues, he says, in particular, general artificial intelligence, or AGI actually, the mythical kind of AI that supposedly mirrors human thought. It is still science fiction, and it might as well stay that way.
Oh,
Right.
man. Someone who's closed-minded.
He says what we call AI today is nothing more than a statistical machine. A digital parrot regurgitating patterns mined from oceans of human data.
Excuse me, isn't that science?
Exactly. Yes. Then he says, when it writes an answer to a question, it literally just guesses which letter and word will come next in a sequence based on the data that it's been trained on. Now we're talking about word processing.
Right,
and,
right.
And,
Carbon
justifying
copies,
text. And,
yeah.
And forward, guessing what the next word is going to be.
So
I
there's
wonder if-
no rudimentary thought process.
Well, he's taking
Yeah.
the word intelligence out of AI.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's artificial and it's contrived.
Ooh, that's AC.
But let's continue, see what he says on, all right? This means that AI has no understanding, no consciousness, no knowledge of any real human sense, just pure probability-driven, engineered brilliance. Nothing more, nothing less.
Well,
It's
at
a
least he
machine,
called it
folks.
brilliance.
Yeah.
It's a machine.
It is a machine. It's an algorithm.
But then he says, more troubling still, AI has no goals of its own,
Oh.
no desires or ethics unless injected into its code. That means the true danger doesn't lie in the machine,
But in the man body.
but in its master, the programmer, the corporation, the government.
Puppeteering.
And then he says,
Yeah.
do you still feel safe?
Yes. I do.
But if you're interested in reading more from this interesting professor,
Right.
Thierry Guillaume Thierry, I better spell all that, Guillaume, last name Thierry, professor of cognitive neuroscience at Bangor University.
Well, I'm not going to Bangor.
Well, he's a professor of neuroscience. Well, as a professor of neuroscience, you would be studying the neurons that are surrounding your brain and understanding that what conceptually makes that happen is similar to where we're going, technically speaking, with computers and things like that.
Huh.
So he's trying to make sense out of how humanity is similar to these machines that are beginning to behave and act more human-like. And of course, all the predictions are, I mean, within years, a decade or so, that we're going to reach AGI and singularity, where the machines are actually smarter than us and beginning to create.
Well, considering they have like the AI programs that are building themselves, they are continuing code. They are continuing to build based on what was already plugged into them. So yeah, I could see that happening.
You remember the interaction that we reported on a month or two ago where a cell phone, Siri, I think it was talking to another cell phone.
Yeah, that was
And
funny.
at one point, the AI said to the other AI, "Are you AI?" "Yes, I am." "Well, why don't we go to a more efficient method of communication?" And the next thing you know, it's stuff that you don't understand.
Yeah.
We don't want them to hear us.
Their secret language.
I want to learn techie. So what would that be? Klingon?
Yeah. Klingon.
Speaking Klingon.
No, I think, there's another, I thought there was another name for it, but yeah.
I got a picture I'm going to pop up here. So, Cass, if you have the picture capability there.
This is so cool.
And this was an interesting one.
It's kind of a scary, like.
Yeah.
It looks so official.
Well, Hollywood already did this. Remember
Right.
RoboCop?
Oh, yeah, totally.
And
It looks less scary than RoboCop.
Oh, you think?
yeah.
There's no face.
I think that's why it's less scary.
That's even.
There's a video that goes with this if you guys are interested, and the face illuminates, and there's like a circle in the face when he's doing, looking at facial recognition.
Yeah.
And his ability to decode things. You know, for us, we have to process a microsecond. What do we see? What is it? You know,
Interpret
put
it,
labels
yeah.
on it. Yeah, that's the best word, interpret.
Yeah.
With this guy, it's instant.
Yeah. I
mean,
would love that
there's
computing
no-
process. That would be so cool.
So the headline is Thailand debuts with AI RoboCop with facial recognition and weapon detection with 360-degree eyes. They say
Wow.
say hello to AI police cyborg 1.0.
For real.
Thailand is pioneering this in the Songkran Festival in the Nakhon Phathom. Now, these foreign countries have weird words, so, you know, you have to kind of bear with it.
Yeah.
Do
You're
our
pretty
best
good
to try
at it,
to
though.
pronounce them, right?
You know, the first thing that goes into like my thinking of is that they, as a country, are looking at pursuing more ways to, and I mean, forgive me if it's offensive or anything, but to oversee their citizens in a more high-tech manner versus, and maybe I'm wrong,
No, I
versus
agree with that.
helping to move their citizens forward in that high-tech manner.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like spending a lot of time and energy and engineering into something that's going to manage their population in this manner. Versus utilizing, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong.
I think that's the first thing that I took away.
It's a great opinion.
We have some people chiming in.
We are
Thank you,
allowed to have
Highlander.
those.
Hello once again. Thumbs up to you too. And Dee Dee Well says, I believe this is more interesting than anything else on the internet right now. Thank you.
Agreed.
Ain't that right?
It's a fascinating topic. I fully agree with you. Well, they continue with this RoboCop in Thailand, armed
great.
with a 360-degree smart camera system, facial recognition technology, and weapon detection capabilities.
That's good.
That's
better
not
than a
his
metal
heart
detector.
appearing out of his chest.
Could
So,
you
you know-
imagine having no shootings, like not being afraid to send your children to school because you have RoboCop there protecting your children?
Now think of it this way.
Okay.
You remember the old Westerns, right?
Oh, of course.
Okay. And, you know, you ride into town and up on a bulletin board somewhere you would see a wanted poster, right? That was your facial recognition back then, right?
Yes.
Well, with this guy, it's instant.
He's like, I know you.
Yeah.
Oh,
You're
you
not
wouldn't
hiding.
Get
If
away.
you're in the system, he immediately spots you. And then the weapon detection capability.
That's cool.
That's got to be a combination of, and I'm just kind of
Right.
thinking about this.
Like an X-ray
It could be
vision.
magnetic. It could be IR. It could be
The
X-ray
sc-
vision, maybe?
yeah, the
There's a
scanning.
certain... Yeah, because remember, our senses,
Yeah.
our visual senses are very, very narrow.
Right.
These machines see way into the ultraviolet ranges, even into the
yeah.
radio frequency ranges.
Yeah, like it's better. What I read on was that it is better detection than what we have at our airports.
Yeah.
Oh.
So,
Wow.
final paragraph here is this cutting edge law enforcement bot can identify suspects, monitor potential threats, and ensure crowd safety in real time.
Oh,
The future of public safety has arrived and starts in Thailand, it looks like. I thought Thailand
Wow.
was a party town, you know?
Not anymore.
I would not mind going on their really cool bamboo boats with like the bamboo leaves and people
Oh, yeah.
feathering me
Oh,
as
yeah.
I go down the canals. That'd be cool.
I wonder, going back to talking about like the cowboy western days where we had those wanted posters, the criminals, they always look to find another way to, overcome the system
Yeah.
in ways that, it's like this constant struggle of what they can do and how they can overcome it. That's pretty strategic.
I'd like to see
Like,
this robot.
unless you're completely off grid.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to fight that. You wouldn't be able to combat it unless you. I mean, even off grid, they might be able to.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, that
detect
goes
it.
into that whole AI topic that, using AI for good or bad, them trying to develop something else on that narrative.
Yeah.
So Dee Dee Well from YouTube chimed in and says, I have a YouTube video playing on my tablet right now about the rotational speed of the Earth, and it is mostly about the oceans and their expansion to cover all the land on the planet. Isn't it cool, the tools that we have now
Yeah.
available to us?
I
You know,
love that.
For some of this thing,
Yeah.
you used to have to go to the theaters. Even your television wouldn't do
Right.
stuff like this.
No, it
Right.
wouldn't. Well,
it
thank you
looks
for
like-
chiming in, Frank.
How come he's got the same last name that you do?
I don't know. Frank Leone. Common name.
He says, good morning, y'all. Interesting podcast. Too bad I can't watch the whole thing. Frankie's working over in shipping. He's busy. Yeah. So the image behind us here,
This
what
is
you
cool.
see there is, and the headline that goes with this is, scientists are hopeful they can teleport entire humans after a new quantum breakthrough.
Teleport me to Hawaii.
You just have to wonder how much, there's so much new technology that is emerging now and being identified. How much of this is is AI contributing? It's gotta be.
They're sitting here putting AI down, but it probably wrote half of their stuff.
Okay, so then that goes right into my thinking while I was drinking coffee and thinking about, what we're going to have as a subject for the show and what we're going to discuss. I thought, well, wouldn't it be ironic to use AI to come up with a topic for AI?
And she did.
The
And
irony.
sure enough,
It's
yeah,
cool.
not to divert too far off track of what you've got there, because the leaping, of course.
Well, the first topic that AI came up with was something that we touched on at the beginning, which was the AI illusion. Are we automating competence or just mimicking it?
Ooh, food for thought.
And that professor at the University of Bangor certainly was on track with that concept.
Yeah.
I'll have to ask AI.
So, getting back to teleporting here, this is the theme of this particular podcast, and it's just a mind-blowing concept, quantum mechanics. The way this reads is, the new quantum mechanics research by the University of Rochester and Purdue University brings teleportation of complex matter, including humans, one step closer. Building on quantum entanglement, scientists have teleported electrons and aim to transfer quantum information that could revolutionize travel. Now, what we're talking about here is instead of you taking your body and trying to go to Mars and being, in space for months, literally, to
Right.
get there, your body stays here.
Right.
And it involves reconstruction rather than physically moving the original.
Right, because you're made up of
Like
the
a
atoms. No,
hologram?
that totally makes sense.
Almost.
Pardon me?
Like a hologram?
Well, similar to that, but this is real.
Or can you
It's like
touch?
taking brick by
Can you
brick.
touch
like
and
if-
feel?
When you relocate
Willy
a house,
Wonka.
when you relocate a house and you're moving it and it's a brick home, they take it brick by brick down, and then they build it in the new place, brick by brick.
So how would your body stay here?
Those are the unanswered questions.
Okay.
What would
Okay,
your
'cause I
body
was
do
thinking-
while it's here? In other words, does it go in
But
suspended
just your
animation?
atoms
So
would be over
Matrix.
there?
Does your family keep it in the closet and say, well, Dad's not back yet. He's in Mars. He's over there messing around.
It's just the skin. Huh.
Don't know yet.
Oh, that's
Don't
gross
know
to
yet.
think about that. That's
Well, because I think quantum leap. I don't know. TV, stupid ruined me. But when I
love
think
that
about
show.
it, and then I think, beam me up, Scotty. It's like that's what I think of as teleportation.
so when they said in the article that they've already experimented with sending atoms, right?
Electrons.
Or
Yeah.
electrons. How do they? I would be curious to understand, like, how do they know where those electrons landed? Did they retrieve them? Like,
it does
The
an
theory
X-ray.
of quantum mechanics is
Right.
that they're beginning to realize that matter in one place also exists in another place.
the dimensional
love this,
crossing
yes.
over of dimensions.
I'm not an expert. I don't know. But
No.
yeah,
Truman Show. Got it.
I think it's the crossover of dimensions. Yeah,
it
there's-
exists in two different places.
Right.
Or
right.
maybe even more. So the theory here then becomes that if they're able to do it with a tiny, minuscule particle
Okay.
like an electron, why not more complex matter, tissue, bodies?
Oh, okay. So
houses,
that would also.
matter.
Wow.
So the way it continues
study it
here,
more.
if scaled successfully, and there's a lot of ifs in this, but we know it's coming.
Right,
the
right.
ifs are replaced with certainties.
Sure.
If scaled successfully, this could redefine everything from space exploration to emergency rescue, instantly transporting people across vast distances without vehicles.
Okay, so
Wow.
right now the technology is that the body is staying here if we're referring to humans, but it's reconstructing the body into another realm, if you would, or area of space and time. But what they think is that they're going to be able to physically move the body instead of
Well,
because how would you incorporate that into rescue?
Well, that's
To
what I was
exist.
thinking initially, but it's actually you're in both places at the same time.
Correct.
So they're fixing you in the other plane, and it fixes you in
don't-
this
you don't
one.
you don't depart one area
Oh, that's
to
so confusing.
go to another area. So I was wrong in my brick by brick moving, but it actually what Pete was explaining was that, and I've heard of that before, where you're in two places at once where you have a crossover, and yeah, that's kind of it's.
This is mind blowing me.
Am I
Well,
correct?
Yeah, that's what
Am
the
I-
show is about. I mean,
Yeah.
we're going to go down rabbit holes that you really make you think.
Right.
And we don't know because, these guys are playing with electrons right now.
Yeah.
But the whole theory of quantum mechanics is that you
Right.
have, the whatever it is exists simultaneously. And
Right.
it could be light years of distance apart. So now you don't have to wait,
Right.
millions of years to travel somewhere because you exist at those two locations or more.
Well, that goes along, which I'm completely fascinated by.
We're not getting off this one now.
The whole multiple dimensions, and further understanding how our dimensions cross over and work. And I would love if I had the bandwidth and more time to
Really
study
dive into
and
it.
learn more about learning more about our dimensions. And I think that plays into that with, there's something else going on right now at the same time where we're at right now in another dimension that we are just not aware of cognitively.
Yeah, I mean, they call it deja vu,
We have
but we
limited-
could have already experienced it. Oh, let's read what Highlander's saying now. Science fiction of yesterday is today's technology. Janie, is there any update from ChatGPT on the minor explosion from Tesla chargers on USA Westworld? Join us on a different podcast for that. I'm just kidding. And then Frank, are you discussing Westworld on this show? Chime in, Frank. And then Highlander says, my reptile brain thinks as a 3D printer, except extremely advanced for teleportation. Yeah, right?
And Frank, Westerns
I just
are the
can't get
best.
Willy Wonka out of my head.
Yes, we know that. Yes, we'll get back to you on the Tesla Chargers. Sorry about that, Highlander.
Don't know the
Mental
answer.
no.
All right, got another image here, Cass. These theoretical sciences are going to be fun as AI
Yeah.
helps us develop and understand them.
By the way, Highlander, your apparel's going up soon.
Yeah?
I got you.
So here we have a picture. This is in Beijing, China. And this happened April 19th. These are humanoid robots that are competing in the world's first humanoid robot half marathon.
That's so cool. I wonder how
So,
they did. Do we have an update?
All of those people are...
No. No, it looks like
You know, the image isn't extraordinarily clear.
Right.
I grabbed this off of Facebook, but there are some humanoid robots.
I
see 'em, like, off in that left
on
corner.
this side of it.
Yeah,
Okay.
right next to that
Yeah,
motorcyclist
in front of the
bus.
Those people were spectators watching it.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
So it's
that.
right in front of that bus there. That's
Yeah.
cool. Or
Okay.
van, whatever it is.
So let's play this out for a moment then.
Okay.
What happens to the Olympics?
No.
Will humans ever have a chance again at getting a gold medal?
Only if
Right,
we allow
competing.
AI to enter the race.
I mean, forget about the gender thing. You know how
Right.
they're, women
Or
competing
is,
in men's.
is that where we make sure to retain our human... Oh, but wait a minute.
Superior
now with
species.
the crossover between adding AI, adding chips in our brains and arms and
my
humans
gosh.
becoming more machine-like,
Gene,
machines becoming more human-like, and who's
where's
to say?
the line in the Olympics? Now I've got two legs that are going to perform.
And who's to say that this machine needs to have two legs?
Yeah.
I mean, if the goal is to go from point A to point B as fast as possible, legs are really in the
hover.
way. You know?
You're right. They're
Why
an
not
encumbrance.
why not just shoot a rocket, machine
Yeah.
rocket, or
Right.
Oh, it's going to change it completely. It would
Oh.
change it completely.
It may
Because-
take our focus off of that entertainment or the entertainment
Yeah.
value in the Olympics. We won't have them
Oh, I
anymore.
hope it
So
doesn't
true.
happen.
You're
Yeah.
right,
Although-
because I was thinking that we would retain, our humans, keeping up with trying to achieve, the best athletes and things like that. But as we continue to grow in having different parts of our body, taking on.
I mean, I think it's cool, but
Mechanics.
at the same time, I think that the Olympics is like, it's not as popular or strived for as much as it used to be.
We come up with a different kind.
Different kind.
That's what I'm
I mean,
thinking.
it is an institution, and it was a way to measure human perfection.
yeah,
So it'll be
athleticism.
on a different level, in a different type of setting. What we know to be the Olympics today will be maybe far different in 100
Oh,
years from now.
It's going to be
Or-
Quidditch by the time we get there. From Harry Potter, the flying broomsticks.
Or being very human, we'll have things that are called bans. We won't allow machines in the Olympics.
That's what
It'll
I
be
would
a
think.
human-only sport. You know?
Oh,
but
then
let's
they
stay
have
with that.
right.
We're the humans are becoming more machine-like with
Right.
augmentations.
Right,
Well,
precisely.
if you have an augmentation and you have faster
you gonna
legs, then
be
are
eliminated?
you a human? And where do you draw the line? See,
Right.
these are the rabbit holes that we're going to have fun with on this podcast.
I think
That's
humans
exactly
are
where
always
I was
going to want to
going
be
with.
superior to machine, and we're never
That's why I
there's going
think
to be
we
too
just
much of
move
that.
to a different type
Ding dong, good idea.
of achievements and goals. We start looking to achieve different types of goals. Okay, the competition, maybe it won't be swimming, or relay races.
Humans moving through water, which is kind of absurd. The fish do a better job of that, right?
Exactly.
gosh.
We will move into
We'll be anamorphed.
who can teleport the fastest.
Yeah. Who's
Who can
using
go the
quantum?
furthest distance in the universe?
Right. Yeah.
How cool would that be?
Different types of.
That'd be so cool.
Yeah, we'll just change because, like, when you think back, I mean, what were they doing thousands of years ago? The gladiators, and you know what I mean? Like the type of things that they were doing back then we now compare to
We
being
aren't barbarians
horrific and
like
barbaric, and there's just no way we're going to put somebody in that,
Humans being ripped apart by lions. right?
Exactly,
Hungry
yes.
lions.
Yeah.
But we have boxing, two guys
Right.
pummeling each other
We have
to the point of
UFC.
unconsciousness. Is it really that different?
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
being by
all
a
right.
lion is
Controlled.
yes,
It's controlled.
the extreme.
It's still entertainment at the expense of a
We
human
stop
being.
them from the
Well-
beating at the point that they go down.
She just said something. Why are we as humans entertained by this
The
kind of
violence.
brutality?
Right, that's where our intelligence will bring us to another
I
place.
mean, I'm going to
agree.
tell you, I don't like watching bad things, but I'm
Neither
more
do I.
inclined to like watch what's
Like
going
like
on
this.
in a bad situation.
We're like this, maybe.
You ever heard that expression, like, I can't look away? It's like
Right.
a car accident. You
Oh,
wanna,
totally.
you're
Yeah.
nosy. We're curiosity. So as humans, we're curious. So something that we don't deal with and we don't see every day and we don't necessarily operate that way, or we're told it's bad, then we want to watch it. It's like horror movies.
Oh, it's like
I don't
TikTok.
like murderers, but I like watching them.
You know what's so funny? It
TV.
reminds me, Frankie and I, we like to watch on Sunday nights America's Funniest Home Videos. It's an old
great.
show, and we just love watching because it's goofy watching it,
It
you
is.
know, and they always show these people falling and things like that, you know.
It's funny.
Yeah. Are we going to be doing the same thing with robots?
I laugh my butt off when a robot falls.
Whenever they do something wrong, that's going to be our funniest videos.
That'll be our AFVs.
We'll put some of those.
And heaven forbid we evolve beyond that, which is entirely possible based on the fact that we could have access now to 24/7 therapy. And
Right.
things
All
that
we just
entertain
need
us
is
now.
24/7 dopamine and 24/7 like serotonin, and let's see what happens.
I have another image here. We've got a few here to read. It looks like
yeah.
Highlander says, I forgot to email Pete. I have to redeem myself. Don't worry about it, Highlander.
It's all your
That's right.
fault.
Yeah. Facebook Din Tan says, good idea. Probably to one of our ideas we had.
We've been spitting out a lot.
Thank you. Military development and humanoid limbs. So is it human games versus robot games? Where do we go with people that have advanced limbs? Well, they should be in
bionic
robotic
man.
Olympics.
So I have an image here, Cass. This is Sam Altman. You're probably familiar with him. He was the one of the original founders of OpenAI back
Yes.
when Elon was involved, and he's a very popular young guy these days.
I watched him in a Congress and being questioned by Congress.
Ah, yes. Okay. Now, by the way, this is an AI-generated image. I didn't do it, but you can usually tell because the facial features are not precise. And I don't think that Sam's face is this full.
No.
But anyway, saying please and thank you to ChatGPT is costing OpenAI millions of dollars.
How?
Well, I'm going to get
Oh,
into
sorry.
that. But
I get it.
I don't know
get it.
about you guys, but when I use AI, I've begun to anthropomorphize AI, meaning that I consider it to be human. And I think that if I do that, maybe
Right.
I will ingratiate myself
It's
to
hard
AI.
to stop yourself from putting, please provide me this image.
Yes, because you're used to being polite. We're raised that way.
Absolutely.
And another thing that may play into it for some people is this threat and fear that AI is going to annihilate humankind.
you don't say please
what
and
if you
thank you?
were nice to it? Maybe you're going to go into a special group that, All right. So a lot of people do the please, thank you, and I don't do it all the time, but I do it
Right.
occasionally, and I find that I get a better result sometimes, not all the time.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So here's
Now I
what
need to know
happens
why.
if you say please and thank you to ChatGPT. And you're not the only one, they say. Those small gestures cost them money, and here's why. According to Sam Altman, polite users contribute to significantly higher electricity usage, with
Yep.
the extra back and forth responses racking up tens of millions of dollars
Sure.
in energy costs.
I can see that.
Oh,
because
so rather than
it's
demanding a
having to-
prompt,
Yeah. So every friendly message you receive from ChatGPT is processed in powerful, energy-intensive data centers.
Right. So
Which
we
is-
have to learn how to communicate with
free?
AI.
Brevity.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, you know what is difficult is because we don't, and this is another thing, we don't know when you're on a company's website and you go into their live chat or their chats, you don't know at all times if it's going to be an AI generated response or if it's going to be a human responding on the other end of it. So you go into it potentially thinking that you're speaking with a human, and it turns out to be an AI
Chatbot.
generated. Exactly, and vice versa. But we could be taking what we are familiar with working on that platform in that manner, and then turning it over, going into like ChatGPT and the other AI platforms, and we're used to conversing that way and not distinguishing the difference between the two.
Not shifting gears.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
I was using it last night. I had a range extender for my Wi-Fi that I've been struggling with for 2 weeks now. I had to order a second one. And this one was even more difficult to install. And finally I thought, let me use chat. And I thought I was going to get somebody in India, in the middle of the night. It turns out that it was an AI agent, and it told me that up front.
Yeah.
So I figured,
Okay. Yeah.
all right, I'd give it a shot, right? The AI agents tend to be overly polite. And, I was
more than happy to
frustrated,
help
so I
you with that.
probably wasn't friendly. I said, well, come on, you just told me to do that, but it's not working,
Right,
that type of thing.
right. Let me talk
And
to
it's
somebody.
always overly polite, which can make some people even more irate. You're
Right,
messing with them, right?
right.
I'm
I
not.
need you-
Why are you being nice right now?
Right,
Yeah.
But it did announce itself as being AI generated, and
Okay.
I get that too.
Yeah, it
On like
didn't-
Cox Communications, when I go to pay my utility bills and things like that, and I have a question, I can use live chat, and it's not typically a human.
Right.
So he continues now, Sam Altman, it's costing them a lot more for you to be polite. He says, natural human-like interactions are a key part of what makes AI truly useful and engaging. So, he says, his advice is, if you're being extra polite to your chatbot, don't worry. As Altman puts it, it's in the tens of millions of dollars, but it's well spent.
Yeah.
Ooh, I love that.
Well, it's not his money, too, remember?
That's true.
That's very
Well,
Well,
true.
investment money
the
here.
reason I love that is because it has that customer service centric response. You know, you don't want to push people away from doing what it is you're supporting, what you want them to do.
I think what a wonderful way to make a product so popular and so well known, and then also improve it based on user experience and being able to push it to the public and give every user a free experience. And then they're literally feeding as much data as possible to this. You are taking your overhead or your expenses down quite drastically, I would assume. So good. Save that money, because we're going to keep going.
But I did find myself, to tag on to that, when I've gone through a series of questions with ChatGPT or any of the AIs and trying to figure out, my answer or image or anything. And it says, would you like me to add this? It says, would you like us to do this? And no, thank you. I find
noticed that.
myself automatically in my head already geared up to say, no, thank you.
Being
Or
polite.
please provide me.
And it is getting more helpful, too. I've
never said please.
It's just
Thank you.
amazing, with as much as we use AI, it's transitioning. It's becoming far more helpful.
I've
it's giving
noticed that.
options.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like this morning, I was doing a bunch of images, and it says, would you like this? We can get a different effect if you...
Yes.
And I'll show you some of those here in a moment, but
Right.
we've got another image to pop up here, Cass. This one is interesting as well. The headline here is, scientists have developed a technology that allows sound to navigate through a crowd and reach only one person. Now, we already have that with earbuds. And, if you watch the Netflix
Right.
show, The Traveler, they have a little voice thing embedded in their neck right here. And only, they can hear it, and
Right.
they communicate with each other. Well, this apparently is a bit different in that it uses audible triangulation. Let me see if I
So
can get a bigger
crazy.
image here, and I'll tell you all about this one. So they say, imagine standing in a crowded room and hearing a message meant only for you, without headphones, without speakers, without anyone else noticing. That's exactly what scientists at Penn State University have achieved with their new innovation, audible enclaves. Think of a box around you.
I don't like
Right.
that.
Well, it's almost getting to that point of what's the word for it when you can hear somebody's thoughts? Telepathically.
Yeah.
Yes.
It is. That's an interesting metaphor.
Yeah.
If a sound wave can break up my kidney stone, it can turn my brain to mush. I don't like it.
Lithotripsy. That's right. It can.
Yeah.
This is exactly this technology because they
That
get into
scares me.
ultrasound now. They say,
You're going to turn my brain to mush.
by the way, for the audience, she's suffering from a kidney
Yeah.
stone, and we're
Yes.
trying to find options other than passing it because it's
Right.
really painful.
Right. Right.
So they say using the power of ultrasound, This technology directs sound to a precise point in space by intersecting two ultrasonic beams, invisible and inaudible to the human ear. Researchers create a pocket of audible sound that exists only at the exact point where the intersection is. Step outside that point, and the sound disappears.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it doesn't
I
target
gotcha.
and follow you. Okay.
Yep. Well, it can.
I know. It can.
So, yeah. But in this case, to make you
instance-
feel more comfortable, it won't.
That's what the scientists told the subject.
So it does not disturb anyone nearby. They can't hear it, so secret messages can be delivered. Just think if Pete Hegseth had that with that silly tweet or whatever he did.
Right.
And,
that
I immediately
app that
go
they're
villain
using.
brained.
so they say it's a leap forward in the way we think about sound as not as something to broadcast to all, but as something sculpted in space, delivered precisely and personally.
I mean, that would
Claude
be way better when you're undercover.
Claude would like so that he could use, the football analogy. You could have the quarterback with the coach, calling plays and nobody else around could hear it.
It's so silly. You ever see them, and what they do is they
hold-
cover their mouths like this.
Yeah, exactly.
Because people lip read.
They're so serious about their gameplay.
Yeah.
That's funny. This one, yeah, maybe even getting me more than quantum.
But that would be good for the hearing impaired, potentially, somehow.
I mean, yeah. I think no matter what, we're going to have innovations like this. But and I'm going to say it every cast, okay? With great power comes great responsibility. And I can only imagine and that's why I said my brain goes villain brain immediately. It's like, ooh, what would you not want to use that for?
Well, like with all great inventions, they started off without understanding the wide variety of applications. The phenomena was recognized, identified, and then came all the applications. The phonograph, for example. Edison, what he saw was a German toy that was a woodcutter, a saw going across a diaphragm. And he, and of course, made a noise for the child, right? And he looked at that diaphragm and that saw blade, serrated saw blade, going across that diaphragm, making that noise. And he then connected that to, why don't we do that with audible sound, even speech?
Right.
And,
amazing.
And then, of course, it just proliferated from there.
He was
Right.
also obsessed with dolphins, I read.
Was he?
Yeah, so
Tell us about that.
that's what prompted
clicking
him.
sound,
yeah,
yeah.
that's what prompted him to think of that, supposedly.
Cool. Another image here, Cass, and this one, of course, is Bill Gates.
I knew it.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
And, Gates is in the news a lot lately.
Yeah,
he's,
yeah.
Yes.
He's definitely a bright young guy, and I got to tell you this: in 1980, early 80s, I was at Comdex, and Microsoft was not yet a formidable force. A very tiny company.
Yeah.
And I almost went to lunch with Gates.
Wow.
Yeah, he was. We were supposed to meet at one of the booths there, and he ended up getting detained, and so I went about my business and went, continued at Comdex. But if it had happened, I would have had lunch with Bill Gates, whatever that means, right?
Wow.
Wouldn't
You
that
had
be
that
cool?
future would have
crossover
been
that
different.
close to having that
Yeah.
crossover.
Maybe
That's
in the
neat.
future. Maybe Gruber Industries wouldn't be here.
We're about the same age, too, I think. But anyway, Bill Gates, and he's quoted a lot, what he says now is AI will replace doctors and teachers within the next 10 years.
Okay.
There you have it. Yeah.
Good. I never liked
Right.
my teachers. I'm just kidding.
Doctors, I can definitely
I
get
don't
my
think it's
head
good.
around
The
that
doctor
because
thing kind of, I don't know. I feel like you can't replace humans. You can't. There's always going to be. It's like when you call into a call center, and I'm not meaning this negatively, but it happens to every call center. They get someone with like an accent that they're not familiar with, or seeming to have a trouble like understanding. So then they're like, "Get me someone in America. Get me someone English speaking, or what have you." I presume it would be somewhat of the same deal. There's always going to have a preference. There's going to be humans with preferences.
You'll have a backup person.
Yeah.
So we've done a lot of theorizing, but let's throw some humor into this. I've got an image here that I just popped up, and this one is pretty interesting because it's a recent event. This
Yes.
is the Pope, and one of the coolest events, it says, was in car history, involved the Pope in a Ferrari Mondial.
Why?
Yes.
And look, he looks much younger there, does he not?
He sure
Pope
does.
Francis?
Yeah.
He sure does.
Yeah.
Didn't one of the popes recently pass?
Yes, he did just
Pope
pass.
Francis?
Yes.
2 days ago, actually.
Okay.
Right.
And he has a Pope mobile. It's a Mercedes.
Oh.
Yes, I did see that. Right.
No, I didn't.
It is a pretty cool car. It
The
allows
Pope of the
him to
people,
stand
he
or
is referred
seat.
to.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, wow. My pastor, who was in a car accident, his wheelchair, they're like upgrading it. Every time I see him, it's like a really cool effect. It can physically stand him up.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
I've seen
he's
those.
got
yeah.
like the little robot legs that like help
There's
him.
the humor. Bring it up, Cass.
This one is actually near and dear to my heart because, we've got all of this turmoil right now in the financial markets.
Right.
And, as much as Donald is a proponent of talking to each other, getting negotiations started, and sitting across the table from each other with Putin,
Yeah.
he's not doing it with Xi. And this is so
Right.
important right now. So this is AI's rendition of
There's
what
a
these two guys
strategy.
should be doing. It
Sweating him out.
yeah, more important than ever that these two guys talk to each other. So this is one of those cases where I had AI enhance the image, and it said, would you like me to put some speech bubbles on the image? So let's look at what it came up with.
Only a
I'll
few minutes.
hike tariffs after this round, only if you match my peanuts percent. Do you remember those cartoons, the circus in the newspaper?
Yes,
I
love
love
those.
that.
I know.
So this proves that AI does have a sense of humor. You may have to prompt it a few times and say, throw some irony in there, make
Okay.
it sarcastic, whatever you want to
Right.
play with, it will respond and give you a good result.
Well, that's
Yeah.
that's a good point on what you just said, Pete.
Yeah.
And I'm finding the same thing too. Working with AI more frequently is that I'm needing to prompt it more and more to get to the goal of that I'm seeking. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm looking for that pivotal moment when AI doesn't need me to prompt it more and more to provide me the goal that I'm seeking.
Ooh, it just knows.
Well,
It learns
Yeah.
my taste and my ways and what I'm looking for instinctively versus me having to drill it down.
Ultimate brown noser.
Like where
Did you say that in the mic? That was a good one.
Ultimate brown noser.
purse. No.
Well-
But you know what I mean? Like at what point is it going to turn where I don't need to drill down so much to have my idea presented to me versus, the other way?
Or maybe AI is like, hey, humans are kind of unintelligent in accordance to me, so I'm going to continue to help you build your brain activity. Prompt me. No, I doubt it.
I wanted to instinctly know. I got you, Erica.
Starlink.
What we have right now, in my opinion, we have AI, but it's in its infancy.
Oh, so much.
It is like
It's
a
like
toddler.
toddler.
Oh,
Yeah.
totally, yeah.
Yeah.
And
It's clumsy.
the future,
it falls
everything
over.
that you described. Right now, we're using fingers to type on little keys to communicate with it.
When's
Think
it
how
going to be
inefficient
connected
that
to
is.
our brain?
Or we're using speech, guttural
Right.
sounds that have to be reinterpreted, and then
you're
you have different
so
languages all
right.
over the planet.
I follow
right?
you with
Yeah.
that thought. Absolutely.
The link eventually is going to be seamless.
So
You
it will be
merge.
able to visualize and interpret what I'm already have in my brain instantly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Does it
yeah.
have to
It will
scan
know
my
at
brain
the same
first?
time.
Your senses will perceive the image, and it will know whether you're happy with it or not by watching your physiological responses, and eventually get precisely the image that you want.
That's
I
like
can't
when
wait
I've
till we
been
get
learning
there.
micro expressions.
We're almost there, Janie. I mean, it is so close.
I know.
I mean, if you could walk into a doctor's office, they scan your retinal and it can detect whether or not you're happy or you're sad or whatever, just based on your current everything, your
It'll
vitals
know your
and
pain
everything.
level
Yeah,
without
it
asking
really
you.
does.
With this chart, with that chart
hate
where
that
they have
stupid
that
chart.
that sad face, and
Yeah.
then they have the big round happy face, and they go
1 through 10.
rate, rate your
Do you think I
pain.
would have
What you
came to the hospital at a 1?
Then they judge you. Yes.
I know, exactly.
Now
And then
you
they
just
judge
want
you.
pain meds because you said 5. It's like, I don't care what you give me. I came here for help.
Oh, that's
Especially
exactly
in
it.
today's world, but that's a whole nother topic.
Oh, we got comments going on. The Highlander, what happens when today's teenagers that ChatGPT is using their thoughts and references?
Oh, no,
you're-
thanks.
Yeah.
I don't
You're
need
right.
a skibbity
Will it
toilet in my
age?
email.
You know,
Dynamite?
will it have age progression? Ooh, that's another great thought.
Well, remember, we're talking immortality within a decade.
I
my
know.
gosh.
So there
I don't wanna
will
live that long.
not be age progression in that sense.
Yeah, there won't be aging, especially.
But we're so much
considering-
wiser when we get older.
As long as there's no poverty, I'll live forever. But if there's still poverty, I'm good.
Well, think about intelligence
Right.
being flooding into humans based on the kind of technology that we have available now.
So will teenagers then have the wisdom of a 50-year-old?
Oh, that'd be nice.
There's a whole bunch more rabbit
I
holes
know.
there.
I'm sorry.
Will the human
Thanks,
race
Highlander.
continue?
You helped me
Yes.
get there.
Yes, we will.
And then finally, YouTube Highlander says Pete Gruber mentioned a Ferrari. Imagine, what are the odds? I love the cars, Highlander.
Right.
They're just great.
I know,
cars.
right?
Great
Him.
concept. Well, it looks like we're coming to the close of our
Yes.
show because
Almost looks
Cass
like a
is over
wire
there
wheel.
and she's pointing to her wristwatch.
Oh,
there
yeah.
we go.
I
Yeah.
know, right?
We should
Thank
get
you.
some Grammy music and you just start playing the
Oh,
Grammy
right.
music.
That's a great idea, Erica.
That'd be easy to do too
Our
with the audio
signal.
setup. Yeah.
Time to end the show, folks.
We really appreciate you all joining us. As you can tell, this is one of the more fun podcasts. I'm Pete Gruber.
I'm Erica Guthrie.
And I'm Janie Herndon-Leon.
We'll see you next week.